Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Shalom. First off, give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakar Kadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring, in truth and sincerity, and women and children who follow. Now that's Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6. Okay, and the gist of this scripture, the main part of this scripture is that it says, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. Okay, and that's a trait of the so-called white man. He increases that which is not his. Okay, he steals, he rape, robs, and murder from everybody on the earth. Okay, in various ways. But it says, how long is he gonna be able to do this? All right, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Now this thick clay, because I'm doing this because I haven't done a update in a while, so we're gonna get into what exactly this thick clay is. All right, so this is the Hebrew word ibatya. Okay, it says weight of pledges, heavy depths. Okay, and this devil, okay, is in heavy debts. America is in so much debt it's not going to be able to climb out. All right, so that's what this update is about. America's debt. You can see the debt plot. This is current as of 9:09 Central Time here on what's the date? March 27th. March 27th. All right, so that's 22 trillion 158 billion 88 million and about 600 well, here we go, 700,000. All right, you can't come back from that. There's no coming back from that. All right, and it has everybody else dealing with their personal debt, and all of that. But we're not going to get into how we got out of this debt, but we're going to look at the current situation, like I said, of the debt. So, let's look at the budget. All right, this is from the businessinsider.com. It says the U.S. posted a $234 billion budget deficit last month, the biggest 1 month deficit in history. How are you going to bounce back? How are you going to get out of this debt if you keep spending within a deficit? Okay, you have a certain amount of money. Your budget is $10 and you keep spending $15. How do you think you're ever gonna do anything? Okay, that don't work in the regular world with all of us. How do you think it's gonna work in the financial world, or in any other case? It just doesn't. All right. It says the U.S. posted a record budget deficit in the month of February, according to a new report from the Treasury Department. The budget deficit for February came in at $234 billion, according to the Treasury, higher than the previous monthly record of $231.7 billion set in 2012. That's around the time of the recession. Says the deficit was also 8.7% higher than the $215.2 billion deficit posted in February of 18. So just a year ago, we up almost 10%. But y'all think America is going to keep going? that America's gonna bounce back? Look at his spending. Okay, so what happens if you keep spending more than what you got? You gonna get foreclosed on, okay? Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is gonna foreclose on America. Okay? This place is gonna be destroyed. This place is gonna be wiped off the map. The budget deficit measures the budget deficit measures the shortfall of government revenues compared to what the government spends. Recent legislative changes have driven the deficit up to its highest levels since the financial crisis. That's what I just said. Since the financial crisis, we haven't been going through this, and this is worse. And if you're familiar or if you know anything about the finances, every 8 to 10 years, there's a fall, there's a deficit, a depression, or a recession. Okay, just like it said, um, there's a financial crisis. Okay, and we're about due. All right, it's 2019. The last one was in what, 2011 or so, 2010, 2011, 2012. Right in that area, we right here in the sweet spot now, which is the perfect time. And a lot of um, market analysts, a lot of so-called professionals, okay, they've been predicting the fall to come soon. A lot of them say this year, end of this year, middle of next year. All we know is that it's coming soon. We know in part and we prophesy in part, but that's why we rewatch and pray. That's why we keep the watch. That's why we do these lessons to not only for our sake, but for your sake. Most importantly, for your sake. All right, that's the job of a prophet. That's the job of a watchman. Okay, we prophesy against many countries and great kingdoms. This here being a great country and a great kingdom, okay, and it ultimately is set up to be destroyed. We have to prophesy against it. So in order to prophesy um, accurately through the strength of guidance and power of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, we got to do this work. We got to get these articles. We got to bring them out. We got to notify the people. Okay, we be teachers in need of milk. So we got to go to the basics as well, but we got to find these articles. We got to find these gems. We got to keep pushing this vibration out to the people and let them know what's going on. Okay, so it says the deficit for the first 5 months of the government's 2019 fiscal year, which runs from October of 18 through October of 19, hit 544.2 billion, up 40% from the first 5 months of the fiscal year of 2018. So we're already at 40%. That's the Lord giving the increase, man. He's speeding it up. Okay, the Lord said that he would have to speed up the times, because if he didn't, this devil would, put an end to us, roughly paraphrased. Okay, he says, the growing deficit has been fueled by two big factors. The first, President Donald Trump's and the GOP's tax reform law, named the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. It says it has caused revenues to slide. According to the Treasury, revenue for the first 5 months of the fiscal year of 2019 is down a little less than 1% compared to the same period last year. So people ain't even making as much money. All right, it says second, spending is soaring due to the bipartisan budget compromise from early 18 and long-term programs. Says spending for the start of the fiscal year of 2019 is up 9% compared to the same time of the period last fiscal year. So people are making less, you're spending more, and you're overspending more. Okay, you're out of your budget. You're spending more than what you're supposed to. Okay, you're spending more just in general, and at the same time, people are making less money. It says this is why it's got to be destroyed. This is why you can't come back. All right, in order to fix a bad habit, you have to first admit that it's a bad habit. Then you have to take measures to start breaking that bad habit and to form good habits. Okay, you're not gonna, save America. America is not gonna, just debt its way into the black. Or you're in the red. Okay, you're in debt. You're not gonna just pay your debt with debt. Nothing from nothing means nothing. Okay, you don't get nothing from nothing. That's all I'm gonna read for that one. It's another article that I have. I didn't get a chance to really go through it, but I thought that it was a nice title. So we're gonna go through this one for the first time together. All right, it's from the Minneapolis Post. It says let me see, Slovakia. The 22 trillion rating question. How do we get on a sustainable path? So that's what I was just talking about. Actually, that's through the spirit. Okay, you gotta admit that you're wrong, and you gotta get on the path to correcting it. How does America do that? Let's see. So I can let's see if Esau has a plan to get on the right track and correct his debt problem. There is a national debt clock billboard sized at 1 Bryant Park west of 6th Avenue between 42nd and 43rd Street in Manhattan, New York. Installed in 1989, it's the first such debt clock anywhere, initially paid for by real estate developer Seymour Durst, who wanted to highlight the rising U.S. national debt. As Durst undoubtedly knew, Americans have long tolerated uh, national government debt. In fact, the only president to fully pay off the debt was Andrew Jackson some 184 years ago in 1835. The national debt clock shows the bad news of the U.S. federal borrowing, stimulated in part by tax cuts approved in the late 2017. The new national debt record of 22 trillion, the equivalent of the nation's national annual GDP, was reached recently under President Donald Trump, despite the fact that he and many other elected officials, mostly Republicans, have long denounced debt and deficits. It says $1 trillion, by the way, is 1,000 billions, which means it's a million millions. On a per capita basis, each American taxpayer needs to come up with 150,000 to pay it off. A most unlikely scenario. 150,000 per person. It's 300 million people approximately in America. That's not happening because niggas is broke these days, literally. Okay, that's a joke, but you know how it is. Jake is on the bottom. Okay, the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, recently estimated that the deficit is expected to widen 900 billion further in 2019, despite a relatively healthy economy, especially when compared to the economies of other countries. By comparison, France's debt, which is also about the same as its GDP, amounted to a little more than 2.3 trillion euros, about 2.6 trillion. Specifically, the corporate tax cuts that President Trump advocated and Congress passed 2 years ago are the major cause of the debt increase. Well, that's just like we said in the last article. Um, in fairness, Trump administration officials asserted that the tax cuts, which are expected to widen the deficit by 1.5 trillion over the next 10 years, will pay for themselves by boosting economic growth, thereby increasing tax revenues. All right, so it's a bunch of bullshit. Let me see if there's anything worth reading. It says the current surge, most agree, began with President Barack Obama dealt with the aftermath of the 2008 global financial crisis, inherited from President Bush by ramping up federal government spending, thus causing the federal fiscal ledger to begin to rapidly deteriorate. Okay, so your favorite president, he himself, the Grinch, you know, Barack Obama, he was one of the main reasons why the government is up where it is right now. Okay, he even said that he had to clean up Bush mess, this, that, and the third. That's everybody's excuse. At the end of the day, it was his job. He was the one that led us into that situation. Okay, and just for the record, he is not our people. Okay, Obama is a Hamite. His father is Kenyan. That's over in East Africa. Okay, we settled in West Africa. We were slaves taken from West Africa. Okay, um, that's pretty much it. I mean, if you can't see it with by now, you know what I'm saying, you ain't gonna never be able to see it. You don't, because you don't want to see it. All right, what it is, America is going down. All right, this is one of the main things that's gonna take America down. And Lord's will, later in the day, I get some other articles about the downfall of America and the different ways this place is going down. So with that being said, I want to give all praises, call out to Yahweh Shem Yashai by Shema Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and sincerity, and women and children who follow. Shalom.